Hallo, guten Tag. Ich heiße Badri. Herzlich willkommen zum Deutsch Lernen bei Foreign Languages Institute, Dilshuk Nagar, Hyderabad. So in B1 plus, okay, so in the B2.1, in the first chapter we have the grammar called präteritum and perfekt und plusquamperfekt. Präteritum, perfekt und plusquamperfekt. Okay, so these three are like a tenses. So präteritum is nothing but like a past tense, perfect is like a present perfect, and plusquamperfekt is like a past perfect. So these three, okay, like a tenses, we say tempus formen. So these three are like a tenses. These three tenses are talking about the past, like a Vergangenheit. So these three tenses are talking about the past tense, Vergangenheit. But so for one, like a past tense, we are using three tenses like präteritum, perfect and plusquamperfekt. Now, in which cases, like in which situations we use präteritum, and which situation we use perfect, and which situation we use plusquamperfekt. And we also know how to the structure. What is the structure of this perfect, präteritum and plusquamperfekt? So first we'll see the perfect. So perfect, the structure is perfect is nothing but like a present perfect. Perfect, present perfect. So the structure is subject plus haben, oder, sein plus V3. So this V3 we also call it like a participle form. So subject plus haben, oder, sein plus V3 like a participle form. Now, so present perfect, subject plus haben, oder, sein plus V3 form. Like subject plus, what is the haben conjugation? Ich habe, du hast, sie es hat, wir haben, ihr habt, sie und sie haben. Then V3 form. And some verbs in perfect, they comes with the sein form. In that case, the conjugation will be ich bin, du bist, sie es ist, wir sind, ihr seid, sie und sie sind plus V3. So as I told you, V3 is nothing but a participle. So we can make V3 in two ways. Like one is G plus stem plus T, and one is G plus stem plus En. Then where we use G plus stem plus T and where we use G plus stem plus En. For weak verbs, we use G plus stem plus T. For strong verbs, we use G plus stem plus En. For example, if you take a verb kaufen, kaufen is a weak verb, then the V3 form is gekauft. Kaufen, gekauft. Like kommen is a strong verb and the V3 form is gekommen. Kommen, the V3 form is gekommen. And for example, kaufen, we cannot make it like gekaufen. No, because kaufen is a weak verb. Then the perfect ends with the T only. So it is gekauft. And kommen, we cannot make it like gekommt. So it's a strong verb. So the perfect ends with En only. So it is gekommen only. Clear? Now, as I explained you, perfect, subject plus haben, oder, sein plus V3 form. So most of the verbs, we can say like 99.99% of the verbs, they go with haben only. A very few verbs, they take sein form. So we have to remember which verbs takes sein in perfect. Clear? So this I'm keeping a star mark. So whenever like whichever verb comes with the imperfect with the sein form, so just I'm keeping a star mark. So those verbs comes with the sein form. In that case, we have to use the sein conjugation with the verbs. Clear? And we already know that whenever we're using a perfect, haben oder sein comes in the second place and the V3 has to go at the end of the sentence. For example, ich habe gestern ein Buch gekauft. Ich habe gestern ein Buch gekauft. So haben plus V3. Haben coming in the second place and V3 goes at the end of the sentence. Clear? And ich bin hier gestern gekommen. Ich bin hier gestern gekommen. I have come here yesterday. So here kommen is a verb. It comes with the sein form. So ich bin. So ich bin hier gestern gekommen. I have come here yesterday. So this is present perfect. Next one, plusquamperfekt. Next one, plusquamperfekt. Plusquamperfekt is nothing but past perfect. Plusquamperfekt is nothing but past perfect. So for this, the structure is subject plus hatten, oder, waren plus V3 form. So haben past tense is hatten and sein past tense is waren, and V3 the same way we have done for the perfect, like a present perfect. So we can make it in two ways. One is K plus tem plus T and one is G plus tem plus en. So for weak verbs it is G plus tem plus T. For strong verbs it is G plus tem plus en. Now, so subject plus the conjugation of hatten is hatta, du hattest, sie es hatta, wir hatten, ihr hattet, sie und sie hatten, plus V3 as it is. If the verb in perfect comes with waren, then the conjugation is this: ich war, du warst, sie es war, wir waren, ihr wart, sie waren. Then V3. So as I told you, the same rule, G plus tem plus T or G plus tem plus en. So G plus tem plus T for the weak verbs and G plus tem plus en for the strong verbs. So the present perfect and past perfect, okay, like a plusquamperfekt, the V3 is same. So only in the present perfect it is haben und sein. In the plusquamperfekt, like in the past perfect, it is hatten or waren plus V3 form. Clear? So in the previous example we have done ich habe ein Buch gekauft. Then we say the past perfect, ich hatte ein Buch gekauft. Ich hatte ein Buch gekauft. Like I had purchased a book. I had purchased a book. Ich bin hier gekommen. That is present perfect. Then we say past perfect, ich war hier gekommen. Means I had come here. Ich war hier gekommen. I had come here. I have come here. Then the plusquamperfekt we say I had come here. Clear? So this is present perfect and plusquamperfekt. Next one, präteritum. So präteritum is like a past tense. Präteritum, past tense. Normally the structure for the present tense, like a präsens, the structure for the present tense like subject plus verb plus object, and präteritum also the same thing, subject plus verb plus object. But here the difference is that if it is a present tense, the verb must be conjugated according to present tense, and if it is a past tense, then the verb has to be conjugated according to past tense. So we have to know the present tense. If it is you're writing a sentence in present tense, we must know how to conjugate the verb according to present tense, and writing a sentence in präteritum, and we must know how to change the verb into past tense. Clear? For example, you take a verb kaufen. Kaufen, the past tense is kauften. Kaufen, kauften. So here we say this is a weak verb. So for all the weak verbs, the perfect is verb stem plus T plus en. So kaufen, kauften. So it's a weak verb. And if it is like a machen, so machen, the past tense is markten. So machen, markten. So mark is the stem. In the past tense, markten, stem plus T plus en. Like lernen. So lernen, the past tense learnten. Lernen, learnten. The stem is learn. So stem plus T plus en. So for all the weak verbs in perfect, it is stem plus T plus en. Kaufen, kauften. Machen, markten. Lernen, learnten. And for example, arbeiten. arbiten. So this is also a weak verb. So what is the stem here? Arbeit. So we are making that stem plus t plus en. Stem is arbeit and we have to add t, but already t is there. So in this case we add et. So arbeiten. So arbeiten, past tense, arbeiten. And antworten. Antworten. So the stem is antwort. So again it is antwort plus et plus en. So antworten, to reply. So the past tense antworten. So these are all weak verbs. So for the weak verbs, the past tense is like stem plus t plus en, and if the stem is already ending with the t, then in that case we add et. Clear? And the next one, strong verbs. How we change the verbs from present tense to past tense. For example, kommen. Kommen, the stem is kom. So when it comes to the strong verb, the stem changes completely different sometimes, and sometimes it will be remaining same. So that we have to learn it and that we have to by heart it as it is. So kommen past tense is kommen. So for the strong verbs, here the stem changes to come and that ending will be en. So kommen, kamen. And rufen is to call and it changes to riefen. Riefen. So here the stem is roof, it changes to reef. So rufen, riefen. And geben, it changes to gaben. Geben, to give, and the stem is gave and it changes to gab. And these are all strong verbs. So if the stem doesn't change in the past tense and it takes a t, it's a weak verb. And if the stem changes completely different and there is no t, then it is a strong verb. Then how do I know that which verb is weak or which verb is strong? That we don't know, that we have to by heart it as it is. How we learn in English, like, liked, jump, jumped, walk, walked, go, went, gone, come, came, come, eat, ate, eaten. The same way in German also we have to learn like which is a weak verb and which is a strong verb. But it's here it is easy. So is a weak verb, then it is t, and if it is a strong verb, then the stem changes completely different, that we have to concentrate on that part. Clear? And there are some other verbs. For example, like kennen. So kennen, the past tense is kanten. Kennen, kanten. And denken, it changes to dakten. Denken, dakten. Next, bringen. Bringen, it changes to brakten. Bringen, it changes in the past tense like brakten. And wissen, it changes to wussten. Wissen, wussten. Now you see here the stem is ken, so it changes to kan. So kanten. Denken, stem is denk, it changes to dakten. So bringen, it changes to brakten. Wissen, it changes to wussten. Now you see here, check whether it is weak verb or strong verb. So normally stem, if stem doesn't change, we consider it as a weak verb. But here you can see in all cases verb stem changes. Ken changes to kan, denk changes to dak, bring changes to brak, wish changes to wish. If the stem changes, we say it as a strong verb. But if you see the strong verb, in the strong verb there is no t. But if you observe here, there is t. So if there is a t in the past tense, what we call them? We call them as a weak verb. Now what do we call them? These kind of verbs like kennen, kanten, dakten, brakten, wussten, weak verb or strong verb. Now as it is a t, we call it as a weak verb only. But as the stem, the changes in the past tense, they change their stem, then we call it as weak irregular. So we call these verbs are weak irregular. So these verbs, what we learn, the stem doesn't change, we call this as weak regular. So weak regular verbs, they don't change their stem and they take t or et in the past tense. And weak irregular, Okay, they take T and but the stem changes. So we have weak regular and weak irregular. Then what about strong? Do we have strong regular and strong irregular? No. So here all strong verbs are irregular only. All strong verbs are irregular because the stem changes completely different. So in the strong verbs there are no regular verbs, like because most cases the stem changes in the past tense. So most of all, you can say mostly all strong verbs are irregular verbs only. Okay, this is how we make the präteritum. But when it comes to the past tense conjugation, it is little bit different. Now we'll see how we conjugate the verbs in the past tense. So kaufen past tense, kauften, kauften. So here I'm writing only the conjugation in the past tense. So ish, what is the stem here? Kauft. So we remove en, the leftover part is called stem. So kauft. So ish kaufta, ish kaufta, du kauftest. We already learned, right? So if verb stem ends with the T, in the do form we add est. Du kauftest. And ARCS kaufta. So normally for ARCS we add ET, but in the past tense, remember, ish and ARCS forms are always same. So ARCS kaufta. Wir kauften. Wir kauften. Ihr kauftet. Ihr kauftet. And sie und sie kauften. Clear? Next one, arbeiten. Arbeiten past tense, arbeiteten. Arbeiten past tense, arbeiteten. What is the stem now? Arbeitet. Arbeitet. Now the conjugation is ish. What is the stem? Arbeitet. Ending will be e. So ish arbeiteta. Do stem arbeitet, then ending est. So do arbeitetest. And ARCS, as I told you, in the past tense, ish and ARCS form will be the same. So ARCS arbeiteta. Wir stem arbeitet, ending en. So here stem arbeitet, ending et. Arbeitetet. And sie und sie stem arbeitet, ending en. So ish arbeiteta, ARCS arbeiteta. So this also same in the past tense. Clear? Next one. So these two are all the weak verbs. Now we'll take a strong verb like kommen. Kommen past tense, kamen. Kommen past tense, kamen. So what is the stem here? The stem is kam. So ish. Normally for ish, most of the cases we add e. But remember, in the präteritum, for the strong verbs, for ish form we don't add anything, we write only the stem. So we take only stem. So ish kam. Du kamst. Du kamst. ARCS again kam. So these two are always same. So in the past tense, ish and ARCS form is same for weak verb, strong verb. In all the cases it is same. So wir kamen, ihr kamt, sie und sie kamen. Clear? Now we'll see one irregular verbs, weak irregular. For example, bringen. Bringen past tense, brachten. Bringen, brachten. What is the stem? Bracht. Okay, now we'll do the conjugation ish brakta. So as I told you, this is weak irregular. So we consider it as a weak verb. So for weak verbs ish, we have the ending e. So ish brakta, do braktest, do braktest, ARCS brakta, ARCS brakta, wir brakten, wir brakten, ihr braktet, and sie und sie brachten. So this is how we do the conjugation of the verbs in the past tense for the weak verbs, strong verbs, and weak irregular verbs. Clear? Next. Now we'll see, we'll change the sentence from present tense to past tense and okay, plusquamperfekt. For example, I'm taking a sentence, ish kaufe, ich kaufe einen Kuli. Ich kaufe einen Kuli. So this is present tense. The first I'm changing this into past tense. Ich kaufen is a weak verb, so the past tense is kauften. So ich kaufte. Ich kaufte einen Kuli. Ich kaufte einen Kuli. I purchased a pen. Ich kaufte einen Kuli. This is perfect. Next, I'm changing that same sentence into present perfect. Then haben plus V3. So ich habe einen Kuli. Ich habe einen Kuli gekauft. Oh, this is ich kaufte einen Kuli is not a perfect, it's a präteritum. Yeah, präteritum. Yeah. So ich habe einen Kuli gekauft. So this is perfect. Ich habe einen Kuli gekauft. So haben plus V3 form. So V3 comes at the end of the sentence. Ich habe einen Kuli gekauft. I have purchased a pen. So past tense, ich kaufte einen Kuli. Now plusquamperfekt, ich hatte einen Kuli gekauft. Ich hatte einen Kuli gekauft. So this is plusquamperfekt. So this is a weak verb. So kaufen is a weak verb. Now we'll see one more example with a strong verb. Okay. For example, ich bin hier gekommen. Ich bin hier gekommen means I have come here. This is perfect, like a present perfect. Ich bin hier gekommen. I have come here. For this present tense is ich, here. Ich, here. So this is presence. And past tense, common past tense, common. It's a strong verb. So ich come here. Ich come here. And plusquamperfekt, ich bin hier gekommen changes to ich war hier gekommen. Okay, I had come here. So this is plusquamperfekt. Clear? Now you understand how we are writing the sentences in the present tense, perfect, präteritum and plusquamperfekt. So for present tense and past tense, the verb comes in the second place. It is a present tense, verb comes in the present tense, and if it is a past tense, verb come in the past tense. If it is present perfect, haben oder sein comes in the second place and V3 goes at the end of the sentence. If it is a plusquamperfekt, it is hatten oder waren in the second place and V3 goes at the end of the sentence. So this is how we write the sentences in presens, präteritum, perfect and plusquamperfekt. Clear? Then we have learned how to write present tense like a past tense, perfect and plusquamperfekt. But where do we use all these things? Presence, it's very clear that. So the action which is happening, so that we write the sentences, the verb we use it in the present tense form. That's clear. Then what about präteritum? It's a past. Okay, we are talking about the action which has happened in the past. And perfect. So perfect is also the same, it's talking about the past event. And plusquamperfekt, this is also talking about the past event. So for us, present is very clear. So the action which is happening right now, so the present tense, the action which happens now, that we write it in the present. It's very clear. Then when it comes to these three, präteritum, perfect and plusquamperfekt, these three are talking about the actions which has happened in the past. Then where do we use präteritum and where do we use perfect and where do we use plusquamperfekt? So präteritum is used for a past event. Präteritum is used for a past event, mostly for written part, schriftlich. Okay, especially in the newspapers like a Zeitungen. So newspaper articles or roman like a novels. Clear? So in Zeitungen, in Romanen novels. So präteritum is used for the past events, mostly for the written part, that too in newspapers and in novels. Clear. Next one, perfect. So perfect is also is talking about the past event only, but it is Munlish, like a oral. So if you're talking something about a past events orally, if you're talking about something orally, then we use present perfect. Clear? And present perfect can also be used in a schriftlich, like in a written part also. Then where do we use this in written part, like a perfect, especially in emails and in the letters, brief. Okay, in emails or in brief, and we use present perfect, but it is in a written part. Clear? So präteritum is used and perfect is used for the past events, but präteritum is used only for the written part, that too in newspapers and in novels. And perfect is used for the past events when we are talking about orally. When we are speaking something of the past events, we use present perfect. And for written part also, we can use present perfect in emails and in the letters. Clear? Now come to the plusquamperfekt. So plusquamperfekt is also is talking about the past event. Plusquamperfekt is also talking about the past event. But when do we use this plusquamperfekt? So plusquamperfekt is used in the past. So in the past there will be two actions will be happened. So one action after another action happened. In that case we use plusquamperfekt. Clear? So in präteritum and perfect, mostly there will be one action in the past. But when it comes to plusquamperfekt, there will be two actions happened in the past, one after another. In that case, we use plusquamperfekt. Clear? Now we'll see some examples. Okay, how like two actions will happen in the past and how we write this plusquamperfekt. For example, ich hatte gegessen. Ich hatte gegessen. Ich hatte gegessen bevor ich ins Kino ging. Okay, ich hatte gegessen before ich ins Kino ging. So here there are two actions, okay, or two actions are in the past. Ich hatte gegessen, I had eaten. Ich ins Kino ging, okay, I went into the cinema. So both actions are in the past only. Okay, after one action another happened. What happened first? Ich hatte gegessen, I had eaten before ich ins Kino ging. So first I had eaten, then I went into the cinema. So here remember, so whenever two actions in the past and happened one after another, here in these two cases, like in these two actions, what happened first? I had eaten first, then I went into the cinema. So which action has happened first, that we write it in plusquamperfekt. And the second action we write it in the past tense, like a präteritum. Clear? So we're talking about plusquamperfekt. So two actions happened in the past, one after another. So after one action another action happened. So first I had eaten, then I went into the cinema. Which action has happened first, that we write it in plusquamperfekt. The second action we write it in the simple past, like in präteritum. Clear? Now we'll see one more example. Ich hatte meine Hausaufgaben. Ich hatte meine Hausaufgaben gemacht, before ich fernsah. So what are all the two actions? I had done my homeworks, one action, and I watched TV. So two actions happened in the past. Ich hatte meine Hausaufgaben gemacht. I had done my homeworks and I watched TV. Okay, when I watched TV, okay, before ich fernsah, before I watched TV, I finished my homework. Or after I had finished my homework, I watched TV. So now what happened first? I had finished, I had done my homework. So the first action is ich hatte meine Hausaufgaben gemacht. So that we write it in the plusquamperfekt. Then what happened? I saw the TV. That we write it in the simple past. Next one, sie hatte ihr Auto. Sie hatte ihr Auto verkauft. Sie hatte ihr Auto verkauft, bevor sie nach Amerika zog. Before sie nach Amerika zog. So what are all the two actions? Sie hatte ihr Auto verkauft. Kaufen to buy, but verkaufen to sell. So sold. She had sold her car. Sie hatte ihr Auto verkauft. She had sold her car. When? Before sie nach Amerika zog. Before she moved to America. So two actions. Which action has happened first? She sold her car. So that's, we write it in the plusquamperfekt. Then she moved to America. Clear? Next one more. Sie war umgezogen. Sie war umgezogen, bevor wir sie besuchten. So sie war umgezogen. Okay, she had shifted, she had moved before wir sie besuchten, before we visited her. So one action is she had moved, and another action we visited her. Okay, so what happened first? She moved. So sie war umgezogen, before wir sie besuchten. So before we visited her, she had moved. Clear? So when two actions are happening in the past, so which action has happened first? That we write it in the plusquamperfekt, and the second action we write it in the past tense. Clear? So this is all about präteritum, perfect and plusquamperfekt. Clear? So hope you have understood. In the next session we'll be dealing with another topic. Till then, tschüss.